Don't forget the evolution of money. Before we had cash, it was people keeping their assets with the king and getting papers signed.
Human being. Everybody's human. So in the space, everybody is
no, but I agree. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency.
I'm getting there. So while that definition covers everything, what makes cryptography, the Bitcoin cryptography different is because Bitcoin cryptography is based on proof of work. Others being the Ethereum, which involves on proof of stake. Proof of stake is our currency is worth it because we have this number available. So that's what makes. Okay, carry on.
I want to ask you, Paul. I keep on emphasizing on Africa because we are Africans, and what Goes with Halima is a podcast that highlights and amplifies the voices of African Bitcoiners. So we get to educate others. So as Africans, we know the level of poverty, the extreme level of poverty. So for most people, it's survival. So how do I even start telling people to save something when all they are looking for is what to eat? Paul.
Hi, Halima.
Hi, Paul.
I'm
Happy
good.
you are here.
Yeah.
Paul, you are the creative director and founder of Blocc Media Agency. You're an event anchor. You've hosted African Bitcoin Conference 3 times. You've hosted Btrust Developer Day, African Bitcoiners Developer Summit. You are a magician on the weekends, and most importantly, a Bitcoiner.
Yes.
Bev.
Hi.
Happy you are here.
Thank you.
You're a corporate comms and sustainability specialist.
Yeah.
Right? You've also hosted events like the Nigerian Bitcoin Conference, Lagos chapter, Bitcoin Dada's workshop on wallet.
Yeah.
And you are a Bitcoin Dada educator.
Yes.
So I want to ask you guys, with your existing careers and passions, how do you explain Bitcoin to people that have never heard of Bitcoin before?
Okay, I would say Paul, go first.
No, ladies first. You should go first. They say you should go first.
Okay, that's fine. So at the core of what I do is education, right? It's just breaking things into digestible bits for people to understand. And that is what I'm trying to do with Bitcoin. And maybe it's given how I got into this space. I tell my story, if you've heard me speak about my Bitcoin journey. Last 2 years, I used to think the only way you could have access to Bitcoin was if you were a trader. I don't know if you know that wave of Bitcoin trading that happened in 2020. And so people were exactly. And so when I joined Bitcoin Dada and I found out that, hey, this is an everyday use case, right? It changed something. I could be doing things where I'm paid in Bitcoin, money that I know that is not hinged on inflation. Right. And also something I know that there's no control. There's no central control on. If I say this is what I have, this is what I have. Right. And I try to give people like me that same education because I know I am like the average Nigerian out there. So I'm telling you, hey, this is the cool stuff I have done. Like I hosted events and all of that. And I have gotten paid in Bitcoin and I'm seeing that my money is not going down. I mean, today, you could buy a crate of egg and you come back tomorrow, go to the next one. They tell you, it has increased by like 2K. And you're wondering why, and that's fiat, right? But I know I did kakaraka.
To break it down, our viewers are mostly people that are not into Bitcoin. What's fiat?
Paul, do you want to answer what fiat is?
Yeah, Paul.
Fiat is just the normal everyday currency. Naira, dollar, pound, shilling.
It's your country money. So the legal tender in your country, Nigeria is Naira, Kenya is shillings, United States is dollar and stuff like that.
Currencies like the pound, euros, Chinese yen.
Yeah.
Are they all fiat too?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So every money is fiat.
Everyone, if your money is not digital, rather, if it's not crypto, it's fiat. That's just the two way it is.
And it is accepted in your country of residence.
For me, how I would explain Bitcoin to people who haven't heard of it before is, I think it's a very subjective answer based off of where the person is coming from and what the person already knows in terms of finance and how they've interacted with it. There are some people who don't even know how banking sector work, but they use money. There are some other people who have other aspects that they've interacted with, and you just come into Bitcoin there with them. So people who already know how money works, but they want to have a better way of saving, you let them know about Bitcoin through that aspect. People who don't even know Jack, you just give them Bitcoin as a means of spending, and you understand. So I think there's no one clear way in my experience, and I have a lot of experience in telling people who don't know about Bitcoin, is to first understand where the person is coming from, what stage the person is, and then you can move from there. So yeah, that's basically it.
Thank you. If someone says Bitcoin is only for the rich, quote unquote, what would you say to them?
I think for me, the underlying component of finance, and when I say finance, I'm referencing money now, not finance in its entirety, is trust. Why someone would make that kind of statements is because they do not trust. And over time, it has been building because of the relationship they've had with money. They understand that the concentration of money is in the hands of a few, right? And so that means they don't trust whatever that type of money is. When you try to say, hey, with your 10 naira, you can actually get into this, right? It's nobody controls the money here. Hey, there's no central bank. Calm down. Right? And so just get people to trust in it. And the way I can do this is using it day to day as well. Day to day use of Bitcoin. That's how people like to see examples. Beyond you talking the talk, they want to see you walk the walk. So yeah, that's that for me.
Which brings me to my next question, right? You see, explaining Bitcoin to someone that barely understands using maybe an Android phone, or maybe doesn't even have an Android phone, or maybe explaining Bitcoin to someone that is, just doesn't even want to hear it. They are facing their own struggles, especially here in Nigeria and Africa in general. Like, let's say an Okada rider or a market woman. How would you explain Bitcoin to them? How would you convince them to go into Bitcoin? Because honestly, this is still a big challenge for me. It's not as easy as we keep on saying in the Bitcoin space.
I think that question is very, it's not even in the Bitcoin space alone. It's just more or less, how do you generally bring people into new technology?
Sure.
And there is no, it's just for you putting it in their face, making it available for people to use and they can get on board. But there's no one sure way, because even the current challenge that Bitcoin is facing in terms of people using it, the internet itself faced it when the internet came on board. There are some newspapers you see now that will tell you then when the internet came out that this is rubbish, this is not going to stick, and yet it stuck. The w.com bubble came, a lot of people did not join in on that time. So you meet these people at some point, you have to meet them at their, I don't want to use the word level so it doesn't sound derogatory, but you meet them at the level that they are, and then it just, once it solves their pain point, people are a lot more receptive, a lot more willing to hear you if the product you're bringing solves their pain point. Case in point was that time they were changing our currency.
Do you know that's what I wanted to talk about? The cash crunch. I'm just thinking about Lightning Network, leveraging it.
It's not even about even the Lightning Network then, because at that point you would notice that even while OP had existed before that cash crunch, that cash crunch made a lot of people just jump on OP and the money point and stuff, because at that point banking services were not working. It was hard to transfer, but yet OP was just going as fast. And that time, before then, if you tell somebody that OP, they'd be like, those ones will carry your money run.
Yeah.
But when the push came to shove and nobody was working and only OP was working, they were receptive to it.
Which brings me to something that is very important I want to talk about. Just a few years ago, pre-2023 election, we had 4 or 5 different Naira. We had cash at hand. We had the new Naira notes. We had e-Naira. We had Naira in our bank account. So people don't understand the danger of having something like this as a country. The danger of having your central bank governor printing Naira with the approval of the president. The president is supposed to protect your best interest. So there are issues like these that people don't even know affect their daily life. They don't know why tomato is expensive. They don't know why eggs are expensive or chicken or, our daily needs. What do we tell people? How do we make these things clear to them? Like, especially in Africa, in places like the US, the UK, they've passed all these places. I feel even the common man there knows about inflation, so it's easier to explain things like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or even new technologies to them because they are way ahead of us. But how do we change the narrative in Africa? How do we make people aware of these things?
And if I may answer that, I for one do not think everyone needs to know the technicality of everything, right? To a great extent, if you explain to the lovely mama who sells tomatoes by your roadside and they may not even understand what you're saying. All they want to know is this solving what I need now? And what I need now is that you're buying something, you're giving me the money, and I'm seeing it immediately. And that the money is not being flashed or that the transfer rate is not so much, like things like that. And I think like for different levels, and which is why I still like advocate for the use of it. Because it is in using it that people understand what they can do with it. Yeah, right? Okay. If it's just education, and I mean, what would the mama understand Bitcoin mining as?
Yeah, so right? So also just to key into that, as much as you get people to use it, in my experience on the field, I think developing trust with them makes a lot of sense. Just like you said, you cannot go to meet them and start talking about Bitcoin when they don't even understand inflation and they don't even understand the problem Bitcoin is solving. So you build trust with them, you get to understand what is currently their challenge. If they say, rice was 10 naira yesterday, today it is 15 naira, this country is spoiling and this country is getting nonsense. Building trust with them is you relating with the level of explaining to them why it is that way. And then they will always want to ask the question, so now as a day like this now, what will we do? Yeah. Or what are the ways we can solve this? That then is the perfect place you can ask, there's this thing I do that helps me fight against something like this. And that is Bitcoin. And then you can then carry on from there.
Yeah. But they know what inflation is. Maybe not the word.
Not the word, yes.
Maybe not
they know the experience.
So exactly. They do.
Have you
every day since they go up for this place, they don't know what inflation.
They know prices go up, but they don't know why.
The concepts exactly.
Yeah, they don't know why.
The reason behind. I mean, that time you ask somebody, hey, but what happened? Why was this thing this price yesterday and today now another price? No, my sister, that's what I say that's what I buy.
Like you even tell you that fuel has increased.
Exactly. Thank you. Everything is fuel.
Yeah.
every increase is backed by fuel. And don't get me wrong, I do understand that logistics plays a key role.
Yeah, there are different types of inflation. Considering the traditional assets that we have in Africa, it's commonly land, real estate, gold, and to people that are educated, quote unquote, stocks. But for the first time in history, Bitcoin gives everybody a level ground. It gives the same opportunity to a person in Lagos and a person in London. So I don't think people know how revolutionary this thing is. How do we tell them? How do we highlight how important this level ground is for everybody? Because as Africans, if we look at the last 100 years, we were slaves. So how do we explain this to people, showing them that, you have equal access. Someone in South Africa has the same access with someone in Kenya, in Nigeria, in the US, in China, in United Arab Emirates, in London, in Russia. It gives everybody a level ground, and we don't even need to know each other.
But I think the answer to this question for me, I think it also ties into the one you asked previously, where people say Bitcoin is just for the rich people. And when I've heard that being said to me is because they feel there's a high price point for people to get into the Bitcoin space. And also in addition to her answer where she feels like rich people have certain monopoly on some things. It's just as the same way if you ask somebody, are you investing? They'll tell you, I don't have the money to invest. Not knowing that you can actually just get a 1 naira stock of Tesla and get in. So if you are explaining this to them and you're letting them know, a very good point to pass across is that everybody can get in at different price points. You don't be late in buying the Bitcoin itself. Another very good example I use is show them the growth itself, how it was when it first came in, what it became later, and how much it is now. I think we hit 2 all-time highs this year. Yeah. And still, there's always that, should I say, variation and the rest. So I think it's just letting them know that, hey, it's going to go. In fact, it's not even gotten to the point where it will blow up. And there's always a time you can get in. I think somebody posted on Twitter one time where he said, everybody gets in Bitcoin at their own price, the price that works for them. So I don't know how the future is, but it's better you get in now that you know that, okay, it's easier to do what you want to do with it now than getting later when it is too late.
I mean, the cost of delay is buying it at the highest price.
That's just it, so yeah.
The best time to buy Bitcoin is
today. Now, as we're talking.
That's the second best time.
Yesterday.
The best time to buy Bitcoin was 2013?
2009.
When it first came out.
The second best time is now.
2009.
You snooze, you lose, right?
Yeah.
So, Bitcoin doesn't care about gender, background, status. You know, Bitcoin is the most inclusive money that I don't know. I won't say will ever exist, but that exists right now. Does it matter that Bitcoin only cares about proof of work and participation?
Does it matter?
Yeah, does it matter?
I think that is the inclusivity part of it. Inclusion. All that it knows is I don't even want to know what you look like. I don't need to know what you look like. All I know is, your skill set, right? And you're doing something to make your money. It's beautiful. It really is. And I'm just going to quote something Queen Marcel of Bitcoin Dada would say. And she goes, opportunities exist, right? And Bitcoin has allowed everybody play in this field. And I want to tell the women not to be left behind. Like, always be at the forefront of the fight of everything. Because financial freedom is really, which is something I call Bitcoin, freedom money. Like, you know how people talk about shut up money and everything. My own name for Bitcoin is freedom money.
Freedom money, facts.
It's your freedom money.
And the thing is, people call Bitcoin internet money, but internet it is what gives it the actual level ground for everybody. Like, they don't understand how important people don't want to use the internet to make money. They prefer to see cash or maybe ATM cards or something. Is there a technology or something we should create that will help in adoption?
The truth is, people will always trust what works. Always. Before we had cash, because don't forget the evolution of money. Before we had cash, it was people keeping their assets with the king and getting papers signed and all of that. The key thing is trust. I wasn't sold 5 years ago when I was hearing it was just trading and all of that, because what do I know about trading, right? But over time, I have seen like people doing what I'm doing. There are people in communications earning in Bitcoin, right? At the very end of it is people are going to adopt it when they see it is working. And honestly, where the world is at right now, very soon it will just be digital money all around. And Bitcoin is going to be leading that. So that's that for me.
I keep on emphasizing on Africa because we are Africans, and What Sorted Halima is a podcast that highlights and amplifies the voices of African Bitcoiners. So we get to educate others. So as Africans, we know the level of poverty, the extreme level of poverty. So for most people, it's survival. So how do I even start telling people to save something when all they are looking for is what to eat? How do I go about it?
I think another way you can go about it is also who you even speak to. For some people, your target point rather, your target audience may not be the parents in the house. It may be the children, the people who actually have a means of getting something that they can save, because some parents are already set in their ways and that conversation cannot happen with them. Another thing is, I want to use I think it's Kibera. See, Bitcoin Kibera. There's a Bitcoin community, secular economic I think in Kenya or Uganda, I've forgotten, it's Bitcoin Kibera, that's the name. And these are the people that they've been able to introduce into the Bitcoin space and say, okay, you know what? Use the Lightning Network to do your goods and services transaction and whatnot. And when they can see that there is how do I explain this now? When they can see that there is a form of currency that they can use for their everyday transaction, that after they've used for their everyday transaction, something is left behind because of the growth or how the value of the currency grows, that leads them to say, okay, we've done what we want to do. We have a few left. Let's see what we can save. You wouldn't want to discuss saving with somebody who does not have anything to save. If your average income in a year is 1 million and the amount you spend in 1 year is 1 million, I'm not going to listen to a conversation about saving. So, and there are a lot of things that, as we all know, hinder or put holes in your income that does not allow you save. The deduction you make, the expenses you do, and then inflation comes and even what is left is low. So these are the way you come into like, okay, these people are spending too much or these people are using a form of currency that does not allow them retain their value. So we are going to try and bring them on the Bitcoin standard. So when they finish doing everything that requires them in life, they still have enough that they can save. So before I would introduce that form of medium exchange for them first, before bringing them on the savings aspect.
So you mentioned something about you earning 1 million naira and you spend that 1 million naira. Does everyone need to save? And does everyone need to invest? Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, yes. I mean, I think saving is supposed to be it's taught to us in primary school, it's taught to us in secondary school because it's an important factor. Then I think what tops that is where you save. So you can actually just keep your money in your bank account and not touch it. That's saving. You can pick that money and put it in your in your wallet. That is still saving. But where you choose to save, no matter. So I may choose to save my money in Tesla stocks. I may choose to save my money.
Okay, that's investing.
That's when it now comes into investing.
Yeah.
Investing is just simply where you choose to save your money. So I save it in Tesla. Tesla gives me 10%. I've saved in a place where my money has brought. But some people say send your money to go and work for you. So saving and investment is the same thing. It's just saving is the act of keeping money. You have something left. Investing is where you choose to save.
The reason why I love differentiating between saving and investing. Saving could be me keeping my money under my bed.
Yes.
Saving could be me keeping my money in the bank.
Yes.
Investment for me could be saying, oh, Paul, you have a business. Let me put so amount. Any returns that you get, we split, or I get so percentage out of it.
Yes.
Investing could be buying Tesla stocks, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Investing could be buying Dangote stocks. Yes. Investing can be buying real estate. You get. So,
it's the same thing. You've chosen to keep your money in those places.
I wanted to get to a point. So, it's important to highlight to people, don't keep your money under the bed, which is saving. So don't save. Don't keep your money in the bank. Because it tends to burn away or it's stolen away from you without even knowing.
So I wouldn't try to tell people not to keep their money in the bank, because in the current way, we operate in a system where moving money through banks is very much needed. So you can choose to have some left in the bank with that, should I say, there's something buffer for if it goes, there's buffer for inflation, let's keep it that way. But you cannot outrightly bring people. So how do I say this now? You cannot, realistically speaking, you cannot force the entire generation to jump on Bitcoin. There's some people who are so strong and set in their ways and they cannot move. So the best thing to do is offer them incentives, offer them a sort of space where they can grow into the technology. So those people, if you meet them and you tell them, don't put your money in the bank, put every service, they'll be like, this one wants to carry my money around. So
based on your logic, that's the same thing that happened with gold. Not everyone will own a bar of gold. Not everyone buys gold jewelry as a form of investment. It's fine.
Yes.
Bitcoin is not even for everybody. We have 21 million Bitcoin, you know. We would love for countries to adopt Bitcoin, this and that, but at the end of the day, realistically speaking, I personally don't think Bitcoin can go around. Like, even though I know it could be divided more and more and more, like sats could be divided into more sats and whatnot. So, if you are talking to a young person, okay, the rate at which this country is going, was your life the same today as it was 5 years ago? What would you advise the person to do? Would you advise the person to, okay, look at your options or invest in Bitcoin based on your knowledge? So I went on Nostra and I announced that I have a Bitcoin podcast that is new, 2 months old. And I asked the community to zap me 21 sats and get a shout out on the next episode. And these people zapped me those sats and I really appreciate it. The first person goes, Paul Keating. Thank you, Paul, for zapping me. There is Glow. Thank you, Glow. There is Min Doggers of Bitvocation. Thank you, Min Doggers. There is Bitcoin TLDR. Thank you. There is Anja of Bitvocation. Thank you, Anja. There is Nakojno. Thank you, Nakojno. And then there is the What's What with Halima team. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. I hope you guys zap me so I give you a shout out on the next episode. Keep zapping.
The advice would be to invest in Bitcoin. But your question came from where they should keep their money. You said you will not advise them to keep their money
in banks. 100%. I don't advise.
Because of, you know that at some point when Bitcoin first came, there were not a lot of technologies and apps and products that allowed seamless conversions between Bitcoin and the traditional currencies. There was not even a lot of products that allowed direct payments with Bitcoin and those stuff. So at that point, if you tell somebody that keep all your money in Bitcoin, and when this push comes to shove and they need money urgently, and they cannot immediately convert their Bitcoin to Naira or Bitcoin to dollar, it becomes a pain point for them. So now you can actually walk up to them and be like, come on the Bitcoin standard, everything you want to do, you can do it on it. You can buy your data, you can recharge your phone, you can send money to another person. Yes, you can do it now. But personally, I still feel there's always that. I think it falls under the term of diversification of your assets. You cannot ask everybody to keep their money in Bitcoin and hands off. There's always be a way to just diversify it and keep things easy or keep things easy for you.
Yeah.
I also do understand where like this entire conversation is coming from. I don't understand how I don't understand you. And maybe let me come to the middle and explain what it is that is happening. At the end goal of Bitcoin is adoption by everyone, right? And so if Bitcoin is adopted, it means that it is something we use every day. It is the money we use every day. So you're saving, you're investing, even like investment portfolios are in Bitcoin, right? Everyday use is in Bitcoin. Imagine buying this watch and you're paying in Bitcoin, and you can also like save some money, and you have stocks that are in Bitcoin. And do not forget, things like this have existed. There are also like stocks in Bitcoin as well. I think BitGive was doing that. BitGive that was acquired by Hi-Fi International. I hope so.
We'll fact check you, don't worry.
I'll fact check it later.
No, we have things like Bitcoin ETFs. We have
exactly.
the emergence of Bitcoin treasury companies.
Yeah.
And, these companies are encouraging people to buy those ETFs.
Yeah.
Instead of buying the actual Bitcoin itself.
Is that recommended?
So there's some people who will be like, no, if it's not Bitcoin, well, we'll not recommend it. And there's some other people that have the same arguments. I think there was this argument one time when they had to make a poll online. I've forgotten the argument. Something about, should we increase the block size of Bitcoin, or should we limit the block size to just the amount it can take now? And a lot of people had different reasons. And they're like, oh, you cannot, if you increase the block size, meaning it will increase the amount of time it takes to transfer Bitcoin. And others was like, if you increase the block size or if you reduce it, there'll be too many blocks on the chain and more people that can, as more miners rather, we cannot bring in more miners because for those of us watching, if you want to start mining in your house, you have to download the entire blockchain ledger from when it started till now before your miner can be plugged in. So if there are big mining blocks, big blocks on the blockchain, and they are not so much, everybody can have a mining pool. But if there's so small mining pool and there's so many, down the line, the entire Bitcoin ledger will be entering terabytes and stuff like that. So people will not. So there was that argument before. So it's the same argument now with, should we tell people to just directly buy Bitcoin or should we give them the ETF version? I'm with buying people buying that Bitcoin directly, because if you start telling people to buy the ETF version, the version of Bitcoin, it will take us back to the whole, there was gold. Not everybody can carry gold. Okay, let's keep gold in the bank and start giving people paper to say there's gold in the bank. Okay, everybody has paper, but the gold is in the bank, right? Okay, you keep that gold. Give this person a version of my paper that says bank as loan.
So centralization
will now come into play. People start buying ETFs and the rest. So from my own point of view, I'm on the side of buying Bitcoin directly and leaving the...
Because ETFs defeats the whole purpose of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin is decentralization. Bitcoin is anonymity.
Yeah.
So what's the point if I have to register on an exchange and buy an ETF in the name of Bitcoin? And I personally don't think those ETFs are Bitcoin. But that's story for another day.
A deeper story when we talk about investments.
Yep. So this is an imaginary world, right? Where I'm trying to describe the This is an imaginary world where every young African has at least $5 in Bitcoin, which is around 7,500 naira or 8,000 naira currently. What do you think would change about the future of young Africans if every young African today owns at least $5 or 8,000 naira worth of Bitcoin today?
How would their lives change?
In the future.
In the future.
How would that change the trajectory of everything going on in Africa?
I don't know about like deep impacts, but all I'm going to say, like $5 worth of Bitcoin. Go back to what Bitcoin was worth in 2018 and now. Imagine you had $5 worth of Bitcoin, then how much you would have now? Can you help me do that?
I'm not a mathematician, but
it doesn't matter.
But yeah, why it is advocated for that people buy in no matter how much they have it, so that tomorrow when we're talking about money, you are not left out. So what $5 is worth now is going to be more in the future, and you just have like money in the future.
I think if they start with $5, it definitely would
snowball.
I don't want to use $5. I would say when they start with 7,500 naira, it will definitely grow and will definitely move. And I think the mere fact that I choose to see Bitcoin as a store of value, not just even money. Let's leave money, because whatever money is the store of value, yes, but like yes, money is a store of value, and whatever I am doing, I want to store that value, that worth in Bitcoin, because it does not waver, it does not change, it does not what the whole thing is about Bitcoin. Because if if a bricklayer's job now, let me use a bricklayer. Let me never use the bricklayer. Let me use myself as a graphic designer. I do a graphic design job, sweat on my time, think about the process and do everything, and I get paid in, let's say, 20,000 naira for the design job today. If I don't touch that 20,000 naira today and inflation happens, or as always, inflation will come in, what 20,000 naira can buy me today, it will not be what 20,000 naira will buy me, let's say next year, in 1 year's time, because of inflation, it has degraded. So if I do my work, the question I want to ask myself is the value I've gotten from the work I've done, which is the financial value I've gotten. How can I keep it? How can I store it to make sure that when I want to use it, I'm still getting that equal exchange back, the best answer is to have it in an asset. I mean, even you should not be as if we're trying to promote Bitcoin only, but yes, Bitcoin is one of those things you can keep your money in that it does not waver. So a young Nigerian youth who is starting with 7,500 naira worth of Bitcoin now, 1 year from now, he will not have 7,500 naira in his account. He will have 10,000, depending on the interest or how far it has gone. He may even have double the amount in his wallet. Why? Because the value and the energy he has gotten for that work that he has, the 7,500 naira, he has stored it and it has only gotten better. As opposed to just keeping it in 7.5. 7.5 buys you...
I don't know.
Burger.
Maybe milkshake.
Eh? Where would you see 7.5 milkshake?
Okay, I don't take milkshake.
You're enjoying it.
See, I don't take milkshake.
So 7.5 milkshake, let's make it like 12.
Based on that conversation, this conversation that we're having, I want to talk about volatility, right? Bev, this question is for you. Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin comes down. So it makes people skeptical about going into Bitcoin. Even if they go into Bitcoin, they are like, oh, Bitcoin is low now. So I want to get into Bitcoin so that I can cash out. So I feel this is a common misconception among people that don't know Bitcoin or are into it or are new into Bitcoin. So how do we educate them? How do we solve that problem?
Okay, like every single thing that is hinged on economics, the law of demand and supply. Think about any other assets that you want to own as well, right? Think about like why stocks go up, stock goes down. There are movements in the markets that affects the way those things are held. And that's the same way it happens with Bitcoin. Demand and supply. It's long. But like if we want to talk about it, it's going to
it
take
will
us
be an
ahead.
episode
Exactly.
of it.
So I'm just going to say demand and supply.
So I feel there is no wrong time to buy Bitcoin.
No, there's not.
We buy Bitcoin as Bitcoiners that know what Bitcoin is. We buy Bitcoin when it's low. We buy Bitcoin when it's high. We buy Bitcoin when it's super, super high. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
We always buy Bitcoin. Just keep stacking your sats.
I mean, if you had bought say November 2024, right? You would have said, oh my gosh, I'm buying it at a high price. Last year it was not this price. But look at the price since November and today. Every day is the high.
Every day is the high.
Every day is the high.
True.
So just buy. Immediately you find out something key into it. Buy Bitcoin today. Buy Bitcoin now. Send me Bitcoin.
So I think it's important to highlight that people should learn about Bitcoin first so that they will know why it's important to buy. Always buy, like there is no good or bad time to buy Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to reiterate this point. Just join something that is teaching about cohort. Not something, because I mean there are scams everywhere as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like find a legit community, especially on Twitter. Leverage Twitter. You will see many people talking about it. Take your time, scrutinize, and just join something that is speaking about Bitcoin so that you would better understand the basics. If you do not understand the basics, you would also think it's Ponzi and you're just buying it now that is low so that you can sell when it's high. But that's not all there is to Bitcoin. So.
Speaking about scams.
I'm not... Okay, carry on.
Speaking
about scams.
I want to ask you, Paul. Speaking about scams, I want to ask you, Paul. We know Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. And we know there is Bitcoin, there is crypto. There are a lot of distractions out there. There are some crypto that you tap to get tokens.
Mm-hmm.
There are some crypto, a lot of people, because I get a lot of questions from social media. I was exposed to something I never knew existed in the crypto space.
Mm-hmm.
There are group chats where people recruit others. It's basically a Ponzi scheme. But I want you to explain this. There are group chats where people recruit others to come in, and then they will give them signal on when to buy those particular tokens or crypto. Then there is that. Those are even the weak ones. There are crypto that like Ethereum, Ripple, Solana, Doge. This, that. But there is Bitcoin. There is crypto. So, as someone that is new into the space, how will I? Why do you think I would be convinced that Bitcoin is better than the others? Because I mean, my friend got 1,000x's investment when he invested within 2 days. So I also want to make millions of dollars within 2 days. So why would I invest in Bitcoin and wait long term before I make money?
I think in it's how we
Take a
Take it
moment.
in.
Take
how
a
we balance
moment.
it for
Take
people
it
to.
in.
Let me start from the first thing.
But I hope my question is clear.
Yes, it's very clear. So by definition, right? For going by definition, a cryptocurrency is simply a digital currency that is secured using cryptography. And by that definition alone, Bitcoin falls under that definition. So you get, so I would try as much as possible to not vehemently distinguish between Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because in a way you are trying to differentiate between male and human being. Everybody is human. So in the space, everybody is cryptocurrency.
No, but I agree. Bitcoin is
Yeah,
a
I'm
cryptocurrency.
getting there. So while that definition covers everything, what makes cryptography, the Bitcoin cryptography different is because Bitcoin cryptography is based on proof of work. That is why everybody that is going to be on the whatever transaction that wants to happen on the Bitcoin network has to be verified by all computers or all nodes in the Bitcoin network before it goes. So that's what makes the Bitcoin cryptography different from others. Others being the Ethereum, which involves on proof of stake. Proof of stake is our currency is worth it because we have this number available. That's what makes proof of stake. The amount of people that are betting on the currency. And when I mean betting, I don't mean Nigeria bet or whatnot. I mean a lot of people that are saving their money in that. They are staking their money on the currency, proof of stake. They're saying, okay, this thing will go. 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 Because of a lot of people are saying this thing will go. This thing will go. This thing will go. It now determines how far the thing will go. That means if everybody's saying this thing will not go again, it will fall down. It will not go anywhere. As opposed to Bitcoin that allows his money is on the proof of work, the amount of computers that are ready to get on it. So a lot of these cryptocurrencies that have come in, when you ask them, what do they store their own cryptocurrency in? Or what is their own cryptocurrency backed by? You answer, it is backed by Bitcoin. Meaning, when you buy Ethereum from Vitalik or whoever company that is selling you that cryptocurrency, let me not stick it to Ethereum because Ethereum is just one of many. Zuga coin.
Oh my God.
Any coin, any coin you are buying now.
Zagadat coin.
Okay. When they buy that coin, once you've given them your money and they've given you the coin, that money that they collected from you is Bitcoin they will use it and buy. Bitcoin is the granddaddy, Bitcoin is the father. As all your currencies, all the cryptocurrencies appear, Bitcoin is what it is backed by. So when you ask yourself, or when you want to get into the cryptocurrency space in general, I think you should do a lot of research. And when I mean research, I mean you should ask and see. If they are telling you this is how it is, how are you going to do it? I'm not going to tell you, don't buy Bitcoin or whatnot. If you can time it, if you can ride that wave of the early boost that comes in when people get into that coin, you get in, get your money and you use it to buy Bitcoin, fine and good for you, but it may be lucky for you today, it may not be lucky for others. So we are not in the field of get rich quick. Yes, we're not in that field of getting rich quick. And we say, as much as you want to get into the space, get into the space the right way, get into Bitcoin, buy and stack, and you see that over the years your money will just.
So in other words,
that is even if you are getting into it to even grow your money, or you can get into it for other technologies and for other reasons themselves. So yeah.
So in other words, this is not financial advice.
Yes, allegedly.
In quotes.
So just fill in the blank for me. This last one. Being a Bitcoiner makes me a better Bev.
Makes me a better Bev. Makes me a better Bev.
Yes,
Okay, Paul, being a Bitcoiner makes me a better...
I don't even know what to now put there. Must it be what? I cannot make me a better financial planner, planning for my future goals.
Give me anything. give me anything. Being a Bitcoiner makes me a better
Raven for Paul.
A better person. Better person.
A better
and for me, being a Bitcoiner makes me a better entrepreneur.
Yes. But she knows the answer.
Yeah.
She has put the answer. She's not giving us now.
No,
so that we
you don't get it. There is no right or wrong answer here. There is no right or wrong answer. So to my viewers, buy Bitcoin.
Today. Now,
if you can, learn about Bitcoin. Follow us on our socials so we can link you to, Bitcoin educators. We can give you resources to learn about Bitcoin. I'm Halima, and this is what is Haute.